Hi everybody, I'm going to walk through some of the example questions from today's notes. So I believe this one is titled Example 2, Write each radical in simplest form. So we have seen these questions before, but most likely they have been square roots. And today we're looking at cubed and fourth roots. So I'm going to walk through A, so the cubed root of 40. Okay, so we need to find two numbers, so two factors that multiply together to get 40. And one of those numbers has to be a perfect cube. So the perfect cubes are in that chart that I gave you a few days ago. So that is the cubed root of 8, because that's a perfect cubed. And 8 times what is 40? 5. Okay, so now we take the cubed root of 8, which is 2, and keep the cubed root of 5 because there is no perfect cubed root of 5. Okay, so let's move on to something with variables. So we're going to take the cubed root of 250, x to the power of 4, y to the power of 3. So with variables, we are going to take now, because we're in a cube, when we had it as a 2, so a square root, we took out the highest even number. Now that we're with a cubed root, we're going to take out the highest odd number. So we're going to still start with our 250. So two numbers that multiply together to get 250, and one is a perfect cube, is 125. And the cubed root of 2. So 125 times 2 is 250. So now we need to take the highest number from 4, the odd number. So that is x cubed. And now we have y cubed, so we can take all of that number out. So what's the remainder? So that is just an x. Okay, so now we take the cubed root of all of this, and that the cubed root of 125 is 5. And then we're going to divide these numbers, these exponents, by 3 because it's a cubed root. So we're going to put x, y, and then we're going to keep the remainder. Okay? So now we're moving on to writing mixed radicals as entire radicals, which is pretty much the same, except it's opposite of what we just did. We were making mixed radicals, so we are going to now make entire radicals. So everything has to be under the root symbol. So we have 4 square root 7. So we need to do something to this coefficient, this 4, to get it underneath the radical. And what we do is square it, because that's a square root. So we're going to put 4 squared times 7 underneath the root symbol. And then we just keep going and answering it. So 4 squared is 16. And then 16 times 7 is 112. Okay? So now let's look at B. So now we're with a cubed root. So we need to cube this coefficient to get it underneath the radical. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 cubed times 14. And this equals 2 to the power of 3 is 8 times 14. And then 8 times 14 is 112. Oh, I've forgotten my little index of 3. Okay, don't forget that. So now let's look at E with variables, our favorite. So we need to do the exact same thing. This is a cubed root, an index of 3. So we need to cube this whole coefficient. So 6x cubed. Okay, so we're going to write our root symbol. This is a cube. So in brackets, put the coefficient to the power of 3 times 3x. Okay, so because the important thing to remember is we have to cube the 6 and we have to cube the x. Okay, so we're going to write six to the power of 3 is 216, and then we're doing x to the power of 3 because we multiply, and then 3x. Now that we have this, we need to simplify. We need to multiply. So we have the cubed root. So 216 times 3 is 648. Now we need to add these exponents. So we have x cubed times x to the power of 1, so that's x to the power of 4. Okay, so the big thing there is to remember to cube everything, to cube the number and the variable, and then when you're adding exponents, or when you're multiplying exponents, you add. Okay, so give these a try. If you have any questions, let me know.